And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
As always, audio is rolling. Sync, clap.
And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Chris Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
See, normal intro.
Yes, you didn't mess it up.
No
this
surprises. No surprises.
time. Good.
I'm focused, man.
I know, Jack.
I'm excited about this episode. It's a little bit of a deviation from what we normally do. Mm-hmm. We have been talking a lot about hip hop lately. We did a little bit of gaming or gamer bros, but
Yeah, y'all weren't fooling with that.
yeah, now we're gonna. I'm not worried about them; they'll be fine. Now we're still going to talk about hip hop, but we're also going to detail The Boys season 3 in this episode. So I'm excited to talk about that and have that ready. Before we get into that, how have you been doing?
Album mode.
Yeah.
That's like literally all I got. Like I'm either so intensely focused on the album that I'm like not doing a video. I do apologize to y'all, but I did just drop a video. But anyway, that I'm like
Tangent Gray.
Not close. Songs are starting to form in this weird way where it's like
Voltron.
Yes.
How did
what? How? I don't even know how you
Star
do that.
Screen. Not the same anime, but all right.
But yeah, it's like that is funny. That was good. Just in my head, I just made a Star Screen Voltron.
Just give me a moment. Let me have it.
Let it breathe. But yeah, so it's like songs are starting to come together. Trying not to pre-sequence in my mind because that's an inherent trait that I've always had from back in the day. Mm-hmm. But like it's just been a good space. How about you?
I'm also in album mode. I'm gonna start writing about 15 records next week. My goal is to write a song or two a day. At my pacing, I think it should be fine. Trinera says that it is not normal to write that many songs in a day. But
She would not want to see 19-year-old me.
I'd argue that for seasoned folks, we can handle it.
We kind of did that in a weekend.
Yeah. We write songs in a few days. Right?
No.
Many songs, an entire album.
We've like
in a few days
written and recorded in like one or two and worked on different like variations. Cabana Club was a day.
Yeah. Stop mentioning things for people to look up.
Oh no, they don't have to look. They don't have to look at these things. They are out there in the ethers, but you ain't got to look this up.
I'm gonna fight them.
But I don't know. Sometimes it's just like it's the space. It's always the space. It's not difficult if you have the energy and time. Mm-hmm. To me, ever to do that thing, and also you're a masterful writer. So
yeah, you know. So our first thing that we're gonna take a look at is Jay-Z had a nice long conversation with Kevin Hart on the Heart to Heart show that Kevin Hart has on Peacock, and I like this interview. I had fun watching it. We're gonna play a quick little 2-minute clip of it. Maybe stop it part way through and make some comments about it. and maybe comment more about the entire show. Is that cool? All right, so we're gonna play this for a second, and then we will.
Now, are you retired?
No, I did. I tried that. I'm terrible at that.
I was about to say,
I found one thing.
because you
I'm
announced
terrible.
it.
Yeah.
You announced it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
said, I'm retired.
That
You
was.
made the world say, oh, shit,
yeah.
damn, farewell.
I just needed a break.
Okay.
But I really thought that, I was really burnt out that time. I was releasing an album every year, 96, 97, 98. And then in between that, soundtracks, other people's album, Rockefeller, touring,
Yeah.
like back to back. And, I just looked up one day and I was like, I'm tired. I had never been on a vacation till like, I want to say 2000, like my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just really burnt out at that moment. And
How long do you think the break was that you took?
Not long. I just needed maybe a year, maybe 2 years. It wasn't that long. It was like maybe 3 years. Because I remember I went to Def Jam. It was 3 years, actually.
You took off and then you appeared. It was like you appeared on the track.
Yeah.
And people was like, well, what the fuck? I thought he was. I thought you was.
Yeah, and then it came back like 2007, I believe.
So not long.
3 years. So 3 years, and yeah, I don't know what happens next. I'm not actively making music or making an album or have plans to make an album, but I never want to say I'm retired. I just, it's a gift, and who am I to shut it off? You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good point to kind of stop that. What do you think about that to begin with?
I had always thought about that. Like when he said it, when he initially retired back in the day, there was like this awe and shock, and it was like, really? And like now, like you're at the top of your game. Like Black Album was crazy. It was my favorite Jay-Z album. Like it was like the Jay-Z album that I probably hold close to me, because that was like the time for me. That or Magna Carta, because it was the first one that I got that thing, and I didn't have an iPhone, so or I had an iPhone. I didn't have a Samsung or Sprint or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't have.
So
yeah,
I had to like download the album and I listened through that one all the way through. But what it says to me is the place of balance is so hard, especially in the 90s in terms of what he was doing. Managing all of those things and trying to find time and as a man say to yourself you're tired. Like,
yeah.
To get to that point is great.
But I think I have a point of view about this where, like, it makes sense and it is mindful to say I'm gonna bow out for a little bit and rest myself, and that's great. I think that until you get there, you can't really rest. The way our economy is set up, the way markets are set up, the way that things work with popularity and fame. If you're in it to get a sum of money to sustain yourself, you have to go hard for X amount of years until you get there. And then you can kind of chill.
Yeah.
What's hard is to turn that off once you get into it. And that's a difficult thing.
I think it's also difficult to get to the actualization that you can still use your gift in other ways. So when Jay-Z spoke that, the first person that comes into mind is Andre 3000. Just period. Because he just pops up on a feature every now and again, normally with somebody that he like respects or somebody new or, somebody that he fools with because he's in tune with the scene because of his son. And it's one of those things to where the gift that keeps on giving. Like, we be asking for an album and all this other stuff, and it's just like, that's not where he is musically, but he also doesn't stop giving the gift. And what I think is like a merge of those ideals is, yeah, you do need to keep working till you get to that point. But you also kind of have to realize that there are other ways to implant and get your gift out while you're in those modes. If you don't like to kind of keep a level of sanity in a certain way, if that's something that you struggle with.
Yeah, speaking about giving that gift out, I think later on in this episode, Jay-Z talks about how he doesn't charge for features, right? So he'll have a relationship with someone and they'll work together, but he doesn't ask them to come out of pocket. What do you think about that?
I think it's dope. I mean, that's a respect. We artists, bro. Like, I ain't never been like, pay me for no feature. Anybody that's ever asked me for a feature, ever, I've always just done the feature. Unless it's like I didn't have time and couldn't get around to it, or I was in my own way at the time or whatever. But to me, there's no real reason. But then again, I only work with people that I got relationships with on some level anyway. So I'm not in a position where I'm thinking about what this artist is, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's your stand-in? Do I think that I should be doing a song with you, or you got to pay me this and doing all that stuff? Because then I think you get into territory where, and I see this with a lot of like battle rappers, they'll do this thing where
Can you finish your statement? You get into territory where you do what?
Well, if I can't respect the song or respect it is what you're doing, I'm just not going to do it.
Got it.
Like,
That helps me edit.
my
Sorry.
bad. My bad. But like what I was getting to, the thing that I see with the battle rappers is they'll do all of these feature promo runs or whatever, and then you either never heard the song, never see anything with it. It was just like a quick little, like, maybe they did do the feature, but to what purpose does it serve? I don't like creating like that. You had a situation where that happened, and I was very upset about a lot of things.
Yeah,
with
we
that.
don't talk about that.
But that kind of situation is a situation I never respect, because the art is to be respected at all times to me. And I'm not like, I don't, when it's money grab stuff and this person is just here because I paid you or whatever, I don't fool with that. So I respect it and think that it's a great idea. What is your take on it?
I do not charge for most features. I have charged in the past. The one thing that I require, though, is for folks to have their business together. Like, I can't do a feature with you if I'm not gonna get my publishing, or if I do a show and perform this verse or this hook. If I can't claim it as a performance through ASCAP, then what are we doing? Right? If you don't take yourself seriously enough to go through that or to even research it, because if you're in the act of being a musician and you want to get paid from music,
Right.
it is your due diligence. It's your due right. It's your due diligence to go and research the information. You don't have to have it right. You just have to do the work.
But that's another thing that I think that we also employ is equity. Like, even if so say we invite somebody to be on a song or do something with us, I'm not finna be in a situation where, like, with a producer or whoever it is that we work with, where I'm just down with paying you for a beat. Like, and what I mean by that is I want to give you more, because that song could be the biggest song in my life. And it's like, there's a part of it that's about my writing. There's a part of it that's about all these things that I did. But there's also a part of it that producers livelihood in a certain way. Like, maybe you're a household name and yeah, you can get other records. But if this is a $30 million record and I paid you $500 for the beat, like, I don't feel right about that. And a lot of people feel cool with that, but I always in making sure your business is right. I always want to make sure, like, hey, bro, that's 10% or 20 or whatever whatever it is. That to me is more valuable because, like we've talked about before, the songs, the catalog in and of itself is the legacy, and you having even a portion of a catalog, especially if it's one of them, is something that I think is special.
You use a lot of vague terminology in that explanation.
Okay, so
No, I get it.
I guess so in layman's terms, what I'm saying is, so when you are splitting up like the revenue of a song, and having your rights and everything, like there's a percentage that people might get off streaming and whatever, or you just pay that person for the service and then they get nothing else because all of the publishing and all of the streams and stuff will just go to the artist. I'm a person who does not just want to pay you on a simple transaction when there's potential for something to be greater, because I believe that you are still a part of this, no matter if it's 5% or 10% or whatever, you're still a part of it.
Yeah. So it's not just a work for hire.
Right.
We don't just pay somebody and say, give me your rights. We say, hey, here's maybe a payment. Maybe we trade, and you get some royalties on the side.
Right. Did I clear it up and make it not so vague?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
And then I just went and sweat the dust up.
Thank you. Because I do want to be better with that. Y'all is like being direct and not as... I'm a metaphoric
You're talking
guy.
to me, so I think that's the challenge.
I got to remember y'all here too. What are some other takeaways from this interview that you like? Because I know the huge part of this for me is just the introspection that they have throughout.
Nothing that I want to dive into on air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's deep. Well, I'll share one then, I guess. The biggest part to me was Kevin and Jay talking about their dads and getting to this situation of like kind of seeing life in a different perspective or trying to be in a different place. Being married has put me in a different perspective place. Living here and being able to work with you is a different perspective. Because whereas we used to just have to send things through email or be on Zoom or, be on the phone trying to like run around and do all these different things, presence is different. Perspective of seeing the way you run business, the way you do things throughout the day, and kind of learning these things from your side. Learning the things about my dad in a way of like seeing things from his side and like seeing all of these different things that could be pitfalls for me if I don't like address them, was something I got from this interview, because it's like at the moment where you're able to kind of assess and you're able to kind of see, oh, it wasn't about me, or it wasn't about something I did wrong, or it wasn't like this hate ball of fire that like I can all understand, and it was as simple as y'all should have stayed together or whatever in terms of my parents' divorce or whatever. It was other things, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think gaining that perspective in a lot of different ways is making me better, is making me aware. Mm-hmm. And I think that awareness as you get older is something that will carry you. And I was thoroughly impressed with this interview. I think it's the best Jay-Z interview I've seen, because it wasn't just about like, okay, well, how'd you make Reasonable Doubt and 444 and what did Beyonce do? It was like Kevin said, it was giving roses and giving flowers to those while they can see them, and hearing the perspective of a person who is seasoned, in just a normal, regular conversation about how you get to this position. And when you get to this position, is it about the marquee or is it about the essence? And like in terms of how he explained it, it's about the essence. And to simplify that, because I think I'm talking in metaphors again.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
about
you
to
got it?
interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
We need to move on.
Okay. But it was a good interview. Go and check it out.
Go on these runs where you talk for like 3 minutes, and then I have to. I'm like editing it, and then I'm just like, whoa, boy.
My bad.
Okay.
But Heart to Heart.
You
Y'all
said
should
that.
go watch that.
You said that, and I don't know what to take out, what to keep, what to
I apologize, guys.
loquacious.
On to the next one, because we do have a whole season to talk about.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on. We're talking about the Boys season 3, which is you can find it on Amazon Prime Video. By the way, this episode is sponsored by Amazon Prime, and you can get a 30-day free trial by clicking the link down in the description. Just try out Amazon Prime for 30 days. Some of the features or some of the benefits that you get are fast, free ways to get orders like 2-day, 1-day, and same-day delivery, as well as 2-hour grocery delivery, instant streaming of thousands of movies, TV shows, and unlimited ad-free access to over 1 million songs and hundreds of playlists. And our music's there on Amazon, and so you could stream that there as well. So, The Boys is on Amazon Prime, and we've both watched the seasons. Especially season 3. And so we're going to talk about this episode by episode. I'm going to try and kind of recap the synopsis without going too deep. Probably read a couple sentences, and then we can go back and forth about our thoughts. And we don't have to, we can kind of skim through if we want to, but I think for the sake of the listeners, if we do it episode by episode, say a quick thing, and then go on, then I think that would be helpful.
Indubitably.
All right, so episode 1, it's called Payback. In episode 1 year after the Stormfront scandal, the boys work as contractors for Victoria Newman's Bureau of Superhero Affairs. I remember this. Huey Campbell as their liaison. Stan appoints Annie January, who is now publicly dating Huey, co-captain of the Seven, to repair Vought's international reputation in unsuccessful attempts to sell V24.
So, this episode was massively just a crazy start. Because their version of Ant-Man Termite was in this episode. And
Oh, yeah. This is where
yep,
the Ant-Man
the
blew off another...
the Thanos meme.
What?
So the joke about or Thanos, as they called it. Yeah,
say it.
There's a whole. I said Thanos. There's a whole mythos that
What?
they're like Ant-Man should have been able to kill Thanos
By jumping inside of his
by
body?
just jumping inside of his butt and making himself large.
Why
That was-
his butt?
Because that's the internet. That's all I got. That's
Well, what happened in the episode is a similar situation where a very tiny character jumped into another character's penis
yep.
and then murdered him.
Sneezed and murdered his entire life.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then got sealed into a bag of coke and shook around. And it was the most wow. This is how we started this season.
Yeah.
I was wow. That-
Yeah. Also, Butcher gets some vials of some compound V.
Temporary V.
I mean, it's V.
Temp V.
It's V.
Temp V.
It's previous V.
Previous V?
I don't know.
Previously V?
No.
No, that one didn't work. That went terribly.
No, bad.
Bad.
Yeah, so he learns that he can get his superpowers by taking that temp V.
And of course, it has to be used like heroin,
Interesting.
intravenously, because it's V.
Yeah. What are you getting to?
I don't know. I tried to do another V thing and it didn't work. But it was amazing to start that episode off like that. You kind of felt like Huey was kind of getting a little man about him. But at the same time, you're
he
like...
struggles with that complex the entire season.
Bruh. But you also, because the last episode of season 2 is when we figure out the twist about... spoilers abound. Spoilers all throughout this, just so y'all know. Where you found out that Victoria Newman was the head popper. Mm-hmm. And like, you know that he's working... Like, we know as the audience that he's working under her. But we know that he does not yet know that. So that was an amazing episode.
Yeah. So, episode 2, The Only Man in the Sky. As the boys investigate Soldier Boy's death, Soldier Boy, tell him. If we could not, when we were watching this, every time they say Soldier Boy, I was just like, tell him. You.
Every time.
It's just like.
No time was missed that I didn't feel like saying that.
It was annoying. Soldier Boy's death. Huey visits Red River, an orphanage for superpowered children, and copies its records, learning that Newman is Edgar's adopted daughter. Frenchie and Kimiko confront Soldier Boy's widow, Crimson Countess, at Vought theme park, but she escapes, mistakenly kills an innocent in the process.
This was hilarious. Because she also sang her, chimpanzees don't smile. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, they do. Or they don't cry. That's what it was. They don't cry. And I was like, oh, okay. What does that have to do with anything, ma'am?
Well, I'm looking at you like, where is this going?
It was so it was jarring in the sense of like how all of these superheroes think that they have these causes and they aren't built on shit, anything, nothing.
Elaborate.
So
what cause does she have? Like,
because they can't cry, she like has some sort of foundation or something stupid. Like it's not even something that I think she's actually doing. For real, but it was just like you have that, and then you got some stuff with A-Train later on that I think we can talk about when we get to that episode. But
yeah, and I think this is the episode that Gunpowder is also killed in the parking garage. Right?
Yeah, this is the first time he used the Tim V, which was it was surprising to know that he basically just got Homelander powers, and like I wonder. In this world, in this universe, because they are doing a lot of different things from the comics. So I wonder if in their world, how V is used kind of, how you think about it is how your powers manifest or something. Because as you can see, like later on in the season, spoiler alert, Huey uses the Tim V and he gets completely different powers. So I wonder if that's like, probably not. I'm probably overthinking it, but
I think it's just everybody's gonna get different powers no matter what.
Yeah,
it's for the story.
The story.
They wrote it that way. Barbary Coast. Homelander's approval rating among rural white males skyrockets after his rant subjecting him to less scrutiny from Vought executives. I think that summarizes the entire episode for the most part.
Yeah, episode 3 was a trip and a half, and they gave us all of these episodes back to back to back. Mm-hmm. It was a long day for me when I started watching these 3. And like,
I watched them all.
I watched the first 3 because I had forgot that it was dropping. Mm-hmm. I had to immediately watch All Things Happy Under the Sun because I was like, oh, this is bad. They are in trouble. I don't know what's gonna happen here. But yeah, it's still another really, really good episode.
Episode 4, Glorious 5-Year Plan. Butcher meets Nina and negotiates the boys' travel to Russia in exchange for assassinating one of Nina's targets. This is where shit hit the fan, really. Mm-hmm. They go to Russia. They discover Soldier Boy is in a vault of sorts. Mm-hmm. He's been frozen in time for a while, and they want to use Soldier Boy to kind of kill Homelander.
Or
as a
they
weapon.
wanted to use whatever initially, because at this point, before they even realized that he was still alive, they thought that they were going for a weapon.
Yeah.
And
they were
like
looking for
whatever killed him, since he was the original Soup, or not the original Soup, but like
the
whatever he
original
was for them.
Homelander.
Yeah. They were looking for this weapon, and to find out that it was just him, that he didn't die, that they essentially sold him off, and so look at that. Kimiko's also saving like the prostitutes or whatever, or the sex slaves, whatever. I don't know. It's very murky as to whether or not they were there by choice, and I don't feel that they were.
Let's just assume no.
Let's assume no. And her kind of dealing with their fear of her, like she literally just saved y'all, and they like shoot at her, and it's just like I don't know what's going on.
I
but
mean,
they're just
people are
afraid.
scared, so that's
fight or
that's what
flight.
it is.
But it was still really, really good. I think really good development to like kind of end on the whole him entering Kimiko and you not understanding what's going on because she's not healing.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I was a little concerned, and specifically about Frenchie and Kimiko's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like she, in some ways, like kind of led him to develop these feelings, and then at the end of it, she's like, "Well, this is a few episodes later, but at the end of it, she's like, I just want to be friends."
Yeah.
And she doesn't owe him anything. Yet, what I'm concerned about is that, like, did you misunderstand your feelings at the moment? Like, what are you communicating here? You know what I mean?
I think she was very much so caught up in self-identity or how she identifies in terms of having the V. What does this make me? Does this make me a monster? Even the fact that her not speaking is a choice. It's literally not like she didn't lose her voice. It's just trauma causes her to like not want to speak, so she signs. And there were so many different things throughout the season about her character that I like enjoyed in terms of that development. Because the first time Frenchie like tries to kiss her, it's like, look, bro, chill out. Like, stop. Like, calm down. Like, I don't know what you got going on.
I thought it was appropriate.
At the time, I felt like it was one of those it's kind of like puppy love to me, in the sense that you've met somebody in this crazy field of stuff that you do, and she's the most pure thing at the same time. And it was just like, it gave lots of mixed feelings.
That's you, the romantic Joe.
True. True. But there was a lot of romanticism as the boys could do.
Joe. Romantius Grady.
I gave y'all a little look in the camera. That's my...
Yeah. I'm going to have fun with that one. The last time, use the sound. Episode 5, the last time to look on this world of lies.
One quick note about episode 4. Mm-hmm. The saddest note in that episode was like, this is where I felt the most just like, oh no, this is bad. Because Huey is high as a kite in terms of, because it was his first time using a V because he had been teleporting around, and he's like hanging out the van and like, you know, hand is in the wind and all sorts of stuff after he told Starlight or Annie January that he wasn't going to be out here doing all this, that they were following the lead for the weapon or whatever.
Yeah, but he's feeling powerful, right? Like for the first time in his life, he's feeling as if he has some it was weight behind himself.
And I guess it also doesn't help that I watched the first episode of Euphoria that day, somewhere in between the lines, and I was just like, this is just one of those moments. And the reason I'm talking about like how high he was is because like he normally would have been panicking and worried about Kimiko, the fact that she's not healing and bleeding out and is very much so injured. And he's just, take me away.
I mean,
Powerful. So, but understandable.
nah. The last time to look on this world of lies, Frenchie admits Kimiko to the hospital where she's overjoyed to find that she lost her powers. Huey reveals his V24 usage to Annie, and then Maeve gives Butcher another batch of V24 before drinking and having sex with him. Fast forward, this is the episode that A-Train tells Blue Hawk to apologize for excessive force against African Americans, and Blue Hawk flies and he has a violent rage in the was it the church, some public building with the community.
This was one of those episodes that hit home too much, and I think that's the difference between This Boys and like the comic book, and it's obviously so because you have to bring things to the current time period or whatever in certain ways.
I mean, the whole thing is political
Yes.
in and of itself.
But like this was just because I've seen so many different things, I've seen so much like
Your B's and your P's are strangely more present. Is your filter on? The one on the left? Is it turned to the left? Mm-hmm. Is it clipped to the left? Okay. All right. We should be fine then.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why my B's are like that.
They're very noticeable now. But sorry.
Bro, I almost made a Lil Wayne joke. It sounds like a Wayne bar. My B's are very noticeable.
Blood game?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it was a intricate episode that like laid the groundwork for so much. And like Maeve and Butcher having sex was just like, what? It's just like y'all are degenerates, and but I think that was like
That's the point.
That's what I was thinking. That was
They're all degenerates, honestly.
But I think that was Maeve's and Butcher's connection at that point of just like, you know what?
I don't feel like there's at any point any hero character, right? The most, I think the most innocent person in this entire series is probably what's that guy's name? The black guy was his daughter.
Mother's Milk.
That's his name?
Mm-hmm. Because or MM, they always call him MM, but MM stands for Mother's Milk. And because in the comic book, he like somehow he gained his powers from drinking milk, something like that. He actually has powers in the comics, which is why I like this different take on it.
Anyway, MM's daughter, because I'm not saying that, is probably the most innocent character in this thing.
Annie's up there.
Nah.
Like, I mean,
Nah.
she's literally the only one that's trying to do things differently.
She's in the shits, too.
She's
messy, too.
I don't know. Nah, I don't think it's the same.
Yeah.
But this episode was good and kind of setting up that people were just like, I'm sick of this stuff. Like, I can't. And to kind of set up A-Train in this redemption, non-redemption arc, because he just is just trash. Because at this point, he got his whole Pan-African suit, and he got a Sonic Wave or whatever the dude killed at this point by being a little snitch. And, you know, it all came back to bite you in the ass because you were being not genuine with what it was you were trying to do. Like, you felt a certain way about Blue Hawk, but, like, you didn't even know that stuff was going on, like, in your neighborhood. So, you get what you get.
Yeah. So next up is the Herogasm.
Oh God.
Skip. No, I was kidding. I mean, we can get deep into this.
Nope, not using the sound. Nope.
So the Deep and Homelander uncover security footage of Soldier Boy killing Countess, leading Noir to cut out his tracking chip and disappear. Nina kidnaps Kimiko and Frenchie's former partner, Sherry, and forces him to choose who to execute. And then they end up at Herogasm, and Herogasm gets basically blown to bits by Soldier Boy. And also, Blue Hawk is murked by A-Train. And A-Train's heart explodes again.
Explodes. This episode was a lot. I was not expecting this episode at all, even though I knew a bit from the comics as to like what was going to be going down. And technically, the comics are way more intense, apparently. And I actually don't think like
You liked it.
the episode.
Yeah.
Not really.
This is a joke.
Oh, listen, I plead the fifth. But the culmination of how they did this episode, in terms of like Huey and Starlight having their like moment, the fact that Homelander and or Butcher and Soldier Boy, they almost had him. They did almost have Homelander out at this point. The Dynamite Twins are terrible. The fact that like you got cameras on the toilet, like what is wrong with you? Like y'all need to get blown up.
You're on a moral crusade, man.
You know, it's my life.
Nah.
Apologize for preaching. It's just how I'm living.
You're in the thing. You know what the thing is.
Oh yeah.
There are no morals in this thing.
Oh no, this thing there's like zero. But like I also am kind of mad that Frenchie didn't get to be there. He's in the middle of dealing with this the stuff with Kimiko and Shuri or whatever. Mm-hmm. Seeing Kimiko like kind of at that point realize I am who I am, even before getting the V back or whatever. And getting them out of that situation was also another like kind of cool thing. Like
I didn't care for her identity crisis. I'm
why
just like,
though? But why though? Like
I don't care.
What is it you want from shows? I feel like if shows give you too much emotion, you're like,
No, I think that doesn't help the story.
They have to grow as characters somewhere, or do you just want them to like be? Does it not help because they just need to be emotionless, or
I
just
think
do what they need to do?
We're juggling so many different stories at the moment.
Okay.
Like why? What for the sake of telling the story? Like some information just need to leave out. Right? We don't need to know about every single Harry Potter character and their growth throughout the series. I don't give a fuck about Neville Longbottom. Don't give a fuck.
No idea.
For those Harry Potter fans out there. I'm just saying, like, every character doesn't need to be developed because I'm focused on the main story.
True, I guess. And I guess they've gotten so far, not far away from it, but I don't know. I think you kind of have to when you get to the third season, even though, like, you got to do something. It's an hour episode. Like, I got to have something going on and kind of know, like, what y'all got going on. Or maybe this, like, it didn't have to come, like, in this episode because there was a lot going on in this episode. So, but.
Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Episode 7. In flashbacks, Noir masterminded the ambush in Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Thank you. It's a trade.
Ding.
I can do that. I'm good at that. To trade Soldier Boy to the Russians on Edgar's behalf with the help of Payback, who resented Soldier Boy for his abusive behavior. In the present,
Or the Payback team, as they represented him. Sorry, you made it seem like a person.
I'm just reading the words, man.
That's all I'm saying. Continue.
I'm just reading the words.
I apologize.
A-Train successfully revived it. In the present, A-Train is successfully revived after receiving a heart transplant from Blue Hawk. Zinger. And then Butcher, Huey, and Soldier Boy seek payback member Mindstorm, who subdues Butcher, trapping him in the memories of his abusive father.
I don't know about y'all, but I watch a lot of anime, and he just trapped him in a genjutsu. And for those of you who know, or Mangekyo Sharingan, Itachi, I'm just going to say all kinds of anime words that you're not going to get, but they'll get it.
Mm-hmm. It's like Neville Longbottom.
I have no clue what the hell that is. Now that's probably going to, my wife's going to make me watch Harry Potter now.
Dun, 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 dun.
But this episode was kind of where you started to be like, how are we going to end? Because we knew there was one episode left.
This episode was garbage.
I think this is when we found out that Soldier Boy is Homelander's dad.
Yeah. Just skip the episode. There you go. Save you some time. I just smacked the camera up. All right. Homelander finds, this is episode 8, The Instant White Hot Wild. I was a little disappointed in this episode. No surprise here. Homelander finds and convinces Ryan to return to him. Unwilling to harm Huey further, Butcher leaves him and heads to New York with Soldier Boy. Huey meets with Annie to apologize for mistakes. I think this is the point that Soldier Boy blows himself up.
I don't know what just happened there. You like stared at me with intention. I don't know what the intention was.
Something just exited my body.
Oh, God. This episode was, I think, a good way to end this season. I enjoyed it just because...
I got to get that out. Hold on.
This episode was really, really good to me and a good way to end the season, just kind of bringing everything together. I don't like the Ryan Brightburn angle.
Who?
Brightburn is a movie where basically it's like a horror movie where, like, if Superman was, what if he wasn't here to save us? And like it's this little kid that has all these powers and he ends up like he's a superhero and he like kills people.
Where does that come from?
What, Brightburn?
Yeah.
Ryan, at the end of the episode where he's kind of looking at the bad things that Homelander is doing and is like, okay, I can kill people in public and they won't be mad about it. Yeah. And he's kind of having this turn because Butcher at episode 2 or whatever it was, you know, was trying to do his usual, I'm going to be a jerk, that's how I detach stuff, and therefore opening the door for this, whereas he could have just tried to be an individual. And I get it, Butcher is not that type of person.
Nobody is in this series. You'd argue Annie is, but no.
I mean, I'd argue Annie, Huey, MM.
I'd throw them all in the garbage.
I also think that
Garbage.
The traumas that they deal with are kind of... It's kind of like, what do you do in the middle of PTSD? And that's what this show is to me. Like, what do you do when something didn't benefit you and you're trying to regain yourself or have some sense of normalcy and everybody plays dirty? Like, do you have to, you either got to meet them in the mud or decide, like, there aren't too many ways on the other end, at least not in this universe, to counteract these people because all they are is filth.
I don't think this show is this deep.
I mean, why though? Like, why?
It's just a show about politics and murder insects and
But why are
just
those things
people with bad
bad intentions or
habits.
Wow, that's I don't know. I mean, I think. Oh, real quick, another just random tangent about something that I really enjoyed about the episode. So one of the things that they're doing differently in the show that they're not doing in the comics is in the comics. What you find out at the end of the series is that Black Noir in the comics was actually a clone of Homelander, and all of the bad things that you presumed Homelander to be doing was actually Black Noir. And so he kills Homelander, the Black Noir does, and he punches him through the chest. And so when Homelander in the season finale punched Black Noir, I was like, I see what you did there. Mm-hmm. It was also really weird and sad because I'm like, what have you done other than be like accosted by peanut butter?
I just think dude should have left. Bottom line.
I don't get why. I mean, I get kind of why he came back, but I'm like, how would they have been able to find you?
Let's just leave.
Like, they didn't have any clue as to where you were at all.
Yeah.
Like, nothing.
I mean, if that were me, I would have just left. Peace out.
Yeah. I did like the fact that Butcher got to see himself for once in terms of like Soldier Boy, where he's like, Soldier Boy is trying to kill everybody, and I'm like, bro, this is you. This is literally you.
Yeah.
And I get that you're like, oh, Ryan, because of your wife or whatever. I'm turning into you now, but
yeah.
the evil spreads. Come to the dark side.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But, bruh, it's just, I know that season 4 is about to be complete and utter
Garbage.
I mean, more than sewage, I guess. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I just think that they are definitely about to go deeper into the sewage than they ever have because we're about to get into the Homelander, Trump, Victoria Newman. Like, we about to get into this. They finna, like, they're gonna be trying to make a statement, as you say. You're probably gonna hate it because you just think it's not that deep. But
I think this is dumb, and
they are about to make dry.
And I kind of wish I didn't watch all 8 of these episodes.
Really?
Yes.
What do you enjoy, sir? We'll talk about this off air. But overall, the season.
Butter?
What would you like to give the season a rating? What are you giving it?
3.
Wow, are you trying to wait? You like peanut butter? You just trying to kill Black Noir? Is that how you feel? That's where it is?
No, I just like peanut butter.
Oh, me too.
I give it a 3
out of
100.
Jesus freaking Christ! That is so like why would you? You know what? You like torture. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's what that has to be. I give it it was an 8 for me. 8 out of 10.
No.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
No.
I do still think that.
Can you stop expounding on this?
Season 2 was probably the best though.
Yes.
That's all I want to say. It wasn't even like a big long point.
I wasn't ready. I'm
just saying.
I'm getting antsy now.
But
I'm so ready to get out of here.
But good episode.
We have just talked
good season.
6,000 minutes about all of these episodes.
And we should have just gave a whole rundown, just a general rundown of what we thought of the season.
I mean, that would have been 15 minutes and we would have been out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
or you would have tried to expound some more and keep us here.
I just would have given, I really just would have given my general thoughts. So, I liked this, that, whatever. But
and then you go cape for Annie.
Man, listen. I came from morally people, and I give people way more credit than you are trying to give them. You give
these fake characters credit. Don't have any morals.
Man, listen. People gotta write them. Like, you can't write. I mean, I guess you can write people without morals, but at the same time, you're writing them without morals for a point.
I am not that into. I'm not in the middle of it. I'm on the outside looking in.
True. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling as I steal other people's outros. This has been fun. So I hope let me know what y'all thought of the season down there in the comments.
Don't let us know nothing. Get out of those comments.
Are you cynical as Dr. Evil over there? Or, do you have hope for people like me? Let me know.
They're fictional.
Just people in general, man. You gotta see. But this has been another episode of the No Rhyme Reason Podcast. I'm your boy, Chris Gray.
Now I'm your homeboy, Evil TJ.
Wow. But anyway, a 1
and a 2 and a
peace.
I tried.